Welcome into the Command Center podcast. On today's show, presented by Cognier Technologies, we won and we're in.
Yes, most
It always
definitely.
feels good to be in the playoffs. Jayden Daniels, I mean, he must have been a history major in college because he just loves making history. Every single game, every single week, doing special stuff. He got the Rookie of the Year on lock.
In the bag. Put the money in the bag.
Is he the most valuable player for this team?
Great question.
Great question. And then we got the Dallas preview. Make sure you bring your shades at games at 1 o'clock. It all starts right now. Welcome into the Command Center podcast. I'm Logan Paulson here with Fred Smoots and Tanner Moss. And from all of us to all of you, Happy New Year. Mm-hmm. And what a way to bring the new year in with a kind of a pseudo playoff win. You know what I'm saying?
Like, no, everything from here forward is the playoffs. Yeah. Like this, you started the playoffs actually before the Eagles game to me. So everything has playoff status to it, and that's why I think people are kind of mixed feelings about this Cowboy game. Mm. Like, do you rest the players and get ready for the playoff game, or do you say let's go beat the Cowboys and put some people that might be limping into the playoffs in there? That's a good question.
It's a great question. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that, but damn sure feel good to know that we clinched. You know what I mean?
Doesn't it feel great?
It was gut wrenching, man. Sitting there, I'm like, here we go again.
Emotions all over the place.
Northwest. That's one thing about Northwest Stadium. It hasn't failed us, boy.
Yeah, I told you at the beginning of the year, it had this thing about it, man.
Man, I'm glad they got it done, and now it's time to say, okay, at least we can go into this week already knowing that we have a spot.
And it's so funny, fellas. We've been in the opposite position of the Cowboys. We was usually hating on them going into the playoffs, trying to get that last victory before the offseason start. And now they looking at us like, you know what? They want to say this. Well, you didn't beat the Cowboys this year, period. That's what they want to say.
Yeah, absolutely. But before we start talking about the Cowboys, let's kind of recap the Falcons game, right? And so, I don't know, let's just start off like we always do, and I'll start with Tana. Like, what were your high-level thoughts, offense, defense, anything that stuck out to you?
You know, high-level thoughts, man. What stood out to me is just, and I spoke to you about this a minute ago, how we are able to make adjustments, in-game adjustments as a team. Like, you know, you very rarely see a team that can't do something in the first half or throughout the game, that something that just seemed to be a thorn in our you-know-what. Yeah. And for some odd reason, while they're playing in that first half, it just seemed like we couldn't stop Bijan Robinson. Like, this guy is like, every time he ran the ball, it was almost like watching Alfred Morris the first couple of years of his years here in that offense that we had with Cal. Like, no one could stop Alfred. I don't care what they tried to do. We just found a way. He found a way, and that's how I was looking at it. I'm like, man, I know this offense is similar to what we ran. Yeah. But why we can't seem to,
that
find a way to slow him down.
That outside zone.
And
they're really good at running.
They're going at halftime, and it's a different ball game. Like, the defense came out, must have got chewed out, back there at halftime in the locker room, and even offensively, they sparked that second half, and it was a whole different team. So, to me, that's what stood out. Like, the last few weeks, we were able to make in-game, adjustments and come out a different team.
Man, I felt like, hey, just be honest, Michael Penix can play some football.
No, he can.
Like, he looked good, and we just played an offense with, I thought the offensive line, to me, is a top 10 offensive line in football. Bijan Robinson, to see him live in action.
Dude, he's impressive. He was, again, like on the sideline and stuff, like just his ability
to bounce.
I think someone told me he was number 1 in the NFL in missed tackle rate. So he had like close to 100. I think he had 99 before the game, and I think he left with like 110 or 115. Yeah. But like his ability to consistently make the first guy miss, his ability to consistently get skinny, his ability to get his shoulders square on contact, like when that dude's special.
When he turns the corner, I'm watching him with other pro athletes.
Warp speed.
Like making him look like all of them run 5 flats. Yeah. Like, I was like, this dude is an ankle breaker. Like, he breaks angles. I didn't play against a couple backs like that. Reggie Bush was very much like that.
It's funny because he's not like track fast. He didn't time super fast. I think he ran like a 4.45, 4.46.
With that ball, he got power and speed. Like, it's a combination.
What's crazy is he's 5'11", he's 225. Like, people forget how big he is.
Yeah, he's built like a back.
You know what's strange to me is just how they haven't tapped into his full potential.
Yeah, because they don't throw him the ball.
They don't use him enough.
Yeah.
It's like I'm watching Christian McCaffrey, a bigger Christian McCaffrey, more dangerous. When I say dangerous, I mean he has a different kind of he gets behind his pass a little different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He comes with a different force, a different power, but he has the same kind of look like gears and just agility. And he doesn't get used enough. And I mean, maybe because they have the other back there and they think highly of him.
And
maybe because he's still young and they're trying to allow him to just tap into, get out of his own head. But man, I see so much potential that's not being used.
I mean, I think also to that point, like, do run that double move, that slant and go to him where he's one-on-one with Quan.
And he runs past Quan.
And that should have been probably an explosive play. And again, like, I agree, Tana. Like, when you watch him, Christian McCaffrey, I think, is a really good comp. And I know that's kind of a gaudy comp. It feels gaudy because he's the best back we've seen in the last 10 years, 15 years. He's probably a Hall of Famer. Yeah. But, like, he's
very similar.
When you watch him in person, it feels that way. And so the other thing I wanted to kind of ask you, Fred, because Tanner brought it up, was like, we had having a hard time stopping the run in the first half. Obviously, they did make some adjustments. But when I look at the secondary, some of the linebacker play, it just feels like there's some issues with run fits. Yeah. And is that stuff that they can get corrected?
Most definitely.
And like, what's the best way to kind of clean that up?
Well, the thing about it, also, you have to get to the point where a lot of people playing a lot of too high safety right now, and you have to have confidence in those outside corners to bring them safeties in the box to help you stop the run. Now, yesterday was kind of odd because we knew before this game started, they run outside zone more than any team in the NFL. They don't stray away from it. They're not really an A-gap, B-gap running team until Algier comes into the game. And with them knowing as attacking us, I was very shocked to look at the paper yesterday, and Bobby Wagner only 7 tackles. So they're telling me they had those linebackers running sideline to sideline. Frankie Louvu, 1 tackle. I was blown away by it. But then when I looked at who leads the team in tackles, Quan Martin and Jeremy Chin. So I was like, all right, so now they're telling me that the running backs getting to the second level, and these guys are forced to make a tackle. Now you switch to after the halftime.
Yeah.
They brought Quan and Chin down into the box and forced them to beat us with Drake London, which Drake London started to give us problems. So I think it has a lot to do with kind of the Marshawn Lattimore effect. How should I say that? He is almost the key to freeing Coach Witt up to say I can call whatever I want, but until then, I had to kind of pace myself and try to keep everything in front of me. That's how I feel like they was playing. And to me, I would have been more funneling everything back to the A and the B gap and try to protect them edges because I know that he's a edge runner.
Yeah. And I got really excited with the Happy New Year stuff because it is the New Year today. Yeah. I forgot to thank Cognier. They're our presenting sponsor. Secure today, shape tomorrow. We really appreciate Cognier and all they do for the show. We couldn't do the show without them, so thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you lots.
And Happy New Year to Cognier as well.
Yeah, most definitely.
So again, one of the things I wanted to bring up about the run fits is like sometimes when I watch them, especially in sub, and Atlanta did a really good job, I thought, of like saying, hey, we're going to take a little motion, kind of like that jet motion where the receiver's motioning away, kind of out.
Ray McLeod.
And then the nickel's going to bump out, and then all of a sudden they're a gap. They're a hat short to the front side. You know what I'm saying? And then obviously you get Drake London blocking the safety at a really high level. Just seemed like they presented a lot of problems in the first half formationally. They made it really challenging for them to fit runs.
They schemed it up well.
They
schemed it up real well. And just to add to what you saw, I saw that too, and I didn't know how much they used McLeod. I think his name McLeod.
Ray McLeod.
Ray, because I've been knowing Ray for a while. I mean, his dad used to text back and forth when he was in college.
Oh, really?
And he used to tell me how special his son was, and his dad was a big fan of mine. You know, back when I was in UM, he was like, man, I wanted you to get him a son ear. And so me and Ray will always text, especially when he was in San Fran. He would ask me questions, how he should take on, Leonard Hankerson being his receiver coach. And I just give him little tips, but I had been watching him this year, and I know they use him primarily as a special team guy. But when I saw him in the offense, I was like, man, he really makes this offense pop.
They use him.
So when I saw him moving and they was giving him the ball here and there, I'm like, well, damn, he might be the guy we need to tame and slow down. But then the other guys got active. So it was just, to me, I think schematically, they found a way to put us in some fits where we couldn't get out of it, and then we had to say, okay, I told you my home, Bo, you and Bo were talking football. Bo was like, bro, we got to cloud it. We got to go out there and zone it because if we got to match up with these guys, they kind of pound for pound got us.
Because they got some elite athletes. Kyle Pitts is elite. He hasn't played elite, but he's an elite tight end when it comes to skill set. And Drake London, for all the talk they talk about, he's a true number one wide receiver in this league. So they can actually attack you however and whatever level they want to, with whichever player they want to. So I can see a defensive coordinator being like sensory overload. Say, I'm going to play this safe, so I keep all of these guys in front of me instead of trying to individually win battles with them. Like, this what I think took away from not having Marshawn, because think about it. Here we go. Here go how the dominoes fall. I put Marshawn on Drake London. Bam, that's taken care of. I could put Jeremy Chin on Kyle Pitts. Taken care of.
That matchup made me nervous in the game, watching it from the sideline, just because. Like Kyle Pitts is, like you said, maybe he hasn't played elite, but he can still win versus man coverage and get down the field. But sorry, Fred, go ahead.
I just feel like with having that many weapons, it's better just to play zone and try to keep everything in front of you.
So one of the things they did a lot of, and they were really successful with it, they played a lot more two-man than they've played the last couple of weeks, right? They kind of, had man up underneath. The pick is in two-man. They have 2 sacks in two-man. And again, that's like kind of a nice little wrinkle and a little bit more aggressive than I thought they would be. But again, it allows the DBs to kind of play that trail technique. Be behind the receiver.
Not be in a rush.
Have a little bit of help over top. Take away those digs and in-cuts, which again, that offense really, think about drift, think about dagger tenna, those types of deep in-breaking routes that really are problematic. But, Ten, you also mentioned adjustments. One of the things that jumps out as a difference from the first half to the second half, and they didn't do a ton of it because they only had 6 rushes in the second half, was they moved Deron Payne to defensive end. So, back when Dan was in Seattle, they used to have a big end who was like a defensive tackle that would play over the tight end, and it was awesome for them because he could really blunt the edge and keep everything inside.
It was Michael, what's the name? I know what you're talking about.
And so they moved Deron to that position. They brought in Holmes for the weekend, and they had these 2 basically 300-pound ends that kind of boxed everything up. I think the corners, Davis, for example, in the first outside zone did a great job kind of fitting the run, keeping it nice and tight. So they did make some adjustments, and they did play a little bit more physically in the second half. But I think maybe the number one driver in the difference in the first half from the second half in defensive production was how the offense possessed the football.
But just kept that very good offense on the sideline, most definitely. That's how you stop our offense.
And that was Jayden by himself at times, you know what I mean?
Jedi 5, baby. May the force be with you.
And, Jason always does such a great job finding research notes, but this is the first time 2 scoring drives of 7+ minutes. Think about that. They possessed the ball on 2 scoring drives for 7+ minutes.
And the entire overtime. Entire overtime.
It was crazy to watch. And again, a lot of that's Jayden. We're going to talk about Jayden here in a second. But the one thing, in addition to kind of stopping the run, in addition to the offensive efficiencies in the third quarter, is this felt a lot like the Eagles game. A little bit of a slow start, had a hard time stopping the run in the first half. A lot of penalties.
Tons of penalties.
Is the question that I've been getting asked is is this who the team is, right?
I think they who they need to be. They are a team that they figure it out, they problem solve during a game, and they end it. He's a closer. And when you have a closer, he waits. The one thing I can say about it, when you in trouble, call the Avengers, right? Because they got a superhero for you, right? And Jedi 5 said, I'm going to take this into my hands. Yesterday, that's what it felt like to me. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to try to win this game. And I'm going to, I hate, here go the thing about it. It's a couple of quarterbacks in this league. If they get the last possession, we automatically think they win the game. If I say Tom Brady in the game, last possession, you tell me what? Victory. If I say Pat Mahomes, last possession of the game, you don't care if it's 99 yards he got to go. Well, Jayden is developing this. If you give me the ball, you have lost.
But I guess what I'm saying is I heard this analogy about Andrew Luck. It was on a podcast I was listening to, and basically Andrew Luck is notorious for 2-minute drives into game, right? Just winning football games. But it's also the reason they're in those 2-minute situations
3 quarters
is because what happened before. And I look at again the penalties, and again this crew seemed a little bit penalty heavy, right?
Handsy.
And then the defensive slow start, the offensive slow start. You kind of put yourself in this position where you got to be great down the stretch. I know we've seen elements of this team look different, but I guess that's what I'm saying is what can they do to kind of get themselves going a little bit sooner, clean up some of the penalties. And again, some of those penalties are on the fact that Dieter's in the game, pre-snap penalties, snap count stuff, and that happens with the new center. But just that's something that I think a lot of fans are maybe a little bit concerned about heading into the playoffs. And you guys are smart guys, so I figured I'd ask you about it.
To me, and this is just my take on it, offensively, you got to get back to just being able to run effectively. You know what I mean? I think that put a stop to a lot of the things that we have seen, the last, about 5 or 6 games, when it comes to us not being able to be effective in the run game with our running backs.
Do you think that's an O-line thing, or you think it's a back
It's a kind
thing?
of both to me.
Yeah.
I look at it from an O-line standpoint when we had, Biotić out the game, got Wiley nicked up, we got these changing, you got
Coleman coming
Chris
out
Paul
again.
coming in, you got Coleman looking like a rookie lately. You know what I mean? Like guys are being able to hone in on certain things that we didn't know what was weak, but they're saying, okay, they're weak here. Let's go ahead and attack this. So to me, that's the big picture. But at the same time, too, when it comes to as a whole, defensively, offensively, you have key spots on the defensive side. You mentioned Marshawn Lattimore.
Yeah.
We only had one game, but that one game meant a lot when we were able to do things up front. Then you get John Atherlin back, He plays different. They play different together with, J.A. in the game. So I think a lot of that stuff will kind of be something that they work on, you know what I mean? Just with the new bodies and the bodies that's not here going forward, because we have to. And I think the adjustments being made in the second half show what we can do with those guys. Because you look at our center, he played a completely different game than we saw 2 weeks ago when he got in there and played. You look at defense, whatever they did first half, they didn't do second half. They honed in on all of that stuff. So to me, it's just about knowing what we can do with the guys that we have at hand. Hey, if we don't have Marshawn, we got to be better in the secondary. We got to be better at corner. We got to be able to do some things that we want to do up front just to protect you guys, so we won't be in a compromised situation having you guys in man all the time. So stuff like that.
Do y'all think it's simple as both sides of the ball is about the run game? Defense stopping the run, offense being able to run. So is it ground game that needs to be cured on both sides to get us back to what most people would say is normalcy?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to think about it. But to me, offensively, I think when they've been at their best this year, they're not running the football, they're possessing
the football. Yeah.
And so,
good way to put it.
Jayden does such a good job with the quick game. Obviously, Cliff does a good job calling that stuff. Jayden does a good job as a scrambler, right? And then if you look at the third quarter, like they hit a trap for a big play. They hit like a little kind of Wanda wind back for a big play. Big play, I'm talking 8, 10, 12 yards, something like that. But I do think like when this team seems to be, I know we get fixated as fans and analysts
stats
on running the ball, right? That's a big thing. And I understand why. It's comfortable, it's safe. It shows a certain level of physicality. You can impose your will on the other team. But I honestly feel like they're at their best when they have a couple the drives going, the opposing defense fatigues, and then you throw B-Rob in there. It's not like that's not our fastball to me. It feels like a little bit of a change up, and that's when it's at its best. Especially, again, this is something that we haven't really talked about a ton, but they are banged up on the O-line.
Oh, no, they are.
Like, think about it. Trent Scott, bless his heart, is your third tackle.
Yeah.
He's played significant minutes in this game.
Yeah.
Dieter's your backup center, right? Like, you don't usually see a lot of success when you're on your third tackle in a game and then your backup center. And so the fact they were able to make it work in certain situations and not see a huge technical drop-off from a run scheme standpoint, I think it's a testament to the coaching staff, a testament to those guys. But I think you got to understand like what is good. Everyone says run the football. To me, it's possess the ball to run the ball. And I think that would kind of deleverage that offensive line. And then to your original point, Fred, the reverse of that is, can you stop the run? And to me, it's not necessarily the D-line. It's the linebacker and secondary fits where it gets a little bit confusing. Like I see, there's a play where I'm thinking they're running duo and Bobby Wagner identifies it, plays to the front side of the run, and Bijan cuts it back. And it's like, you're not technically in your gap. You know what I'm saying? So like getting some of that stuff cleaned up to me is maybe more important than like actual D-line play. If that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Because it's his first level of the run, second level of the run, third level of the run, and we all got to be right where we need to be. Like that what stops a lot of corners from playing early, not the covering part, the run fits.
Interesting.
And most corners they was never asked to run fit in college. So when they have to do this, and think about it, if you got Bobby Wagner supposed to be in the B gap, but as the play moves, the B gap kind of floats.
Yeah.
He overruns it just a little bit. Mm-hmm. You can't do that with a back like Bijan because he's gonna put one foot in the ground.
I don't know if you saw that, Fred, but that's like exactly what happened.
Yeah.
There was multiple times where dudes it's either the boot action, they're getting, I'm talking a little loose. I'm talking 2 steps out of position, and Bijan's gashing you.
Gashing.
And so it's not necessarily D-line. There's, like we talked about, some of the motion where you get soft to the front side, then hit it to the front side. It's some of that stuff to me that needs to be kind of thought through a little bit to kind of, again, help the trenches, help stopping the run, help running the football, which I think is super important.
The thing I can say is you have to take a lot from this game because of the brainchild of this offense, very much going to be similar to what McVay is going to do.
You're saying from Atlanta.
Yeah, from Atlanta. Now, and Carmen Williams, he can run the ball. He ain't.
It's funny because it's the same offense and the same defense, approximately.
Yeah.
Like it's the defensive tree and the same offensive tree.
Yeah, and the one thing about it is they run a lot of that wide zone that they are turning into an inside run with cutting it back downhill. So therefore, they don't call the A-gap run. Mm-hmm. They turn that into the A-gap run. Because think about this. If you overrun it, you done messed up. Yeah. If you don't run far enough, he gonna keep on going. So it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario when you play this offense. But they're gonna have to find some answer because you're gonna see this offense again.
And that's why it's good to have a back like the ones that you see in this offense, like a Bijan, and you see the dude, you say Williams up there. Those guys there, they can make it. They can make their self right. They can make the offense right anytime because they can just put one foot in the ground and keep it moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think obviously there's a lot of kind of technical stuff there. Run the football a little bit better. But I think the main storyline coming out of this game is Jayden Daniels. Yeah, and you
Jedi Five.
I was talking to you post game 10. You were like, man, he just put the team on his back. Went and go get it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he outwilled his way up and down that field. The fourth quarter last drive, and then the overtime drive. You just saw a guy that's I'm possessed right now. I'm playing with that. I got that Mario mushroom right now. I can't be stopped.
I'm in that zone.
You know what I mean?
I'm in that zone.
You know what I mean?
You know when you can't mess up. You've been in the game.
Bro, I was watching a guy that we was like, and don't get me wrong, because we all cringe at times when he tuck it. I ain't cringed one time in overtime. I was like, I feel you. Take it over. It's yours. Go get it. You want it. Remember how we say, who wanted it bad enough? He wanted it bad enough.
No, he wants it, and he does it in so many different ways. Mm-hmm. It's like, if I need my feet, so be it. Yeah. If I need to rock it in there, and I can only wonder as the other defensive coordinator on the opposite sideline, what are you calling that's safe enough? Because I can't call a lot of man because I really want to, because they be like, hey, they got Terry and we don't know who else. Mm-hmm. But I can't have my DBs turn my back on him. Because if my DBs turn my back on 5, he'll be running beside them. Yeah. So I'm forced to play zone. And then you notice the team that said, you know what? I'm a zone blitz and I'm a man up. They hit us with curveballs. Philadelphia said I'm a man up and not worry about that. But most teams legitly are forced to play us in zone, and he still gets the job done.
Dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, it's really kind of, I was trying to, because everyone said, oh, it's a special performance, it's so unique, and to me, like, what makes it special? Like, that's why we're analysts, right? Yeah. Why is this a special performance? And to me, this stat here kind of shows that. He's the second player this season with 200 yards plus passing and 100 yards plus running. Yeah. The only other player to do that is Lamar Jackson week 1. Yeah. And that's the kind of performance it felt like. Yeah. Like when Lamar, Josh Allen, they're just on one. Yeah. And they're just like, I'm going to win the game.
It's on me.
Yeah. That's what it felt like. And obviously, what is Josh Allen's in year 4 or 5?
6.
Lamar's in year 6, I think, too, right? They're the same class. Mm-hmm. Like, it's taken them this long to get to that point where they do that.
This dude arrived like this.
And so this is why it's special, to have a rookie with the supporting cast as it was. We just talked about the offensive line. They're really banged up. Yeah. Talk about the receivers. Like, we're going to talk about OZ here in a second. I think had just a gutsy,
just revenge
physical
on his mind
performance. Jamison Crowder played well. Ertz played well, but none of those guys you'd be like
afraid of.
Yeah, like I said this on the postgame show. Like, I love watching Jamison. I love watching OZ because of like the way they're just pros.
Just work hard mentality.
They're good. They're all the things they want to do, right?
Yeah.
But in an ideal situation, they're probably a 3
or 4
for your offense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so for him, with all of that, to come out and have the performance he did,
it makes him what he's a force multiplier. Yeah. Like he's showing
makes everybody better.
What's going?
He's a LeBron.
Yeah, he's showing you what's going to happen when you have to pay me. When you have to pay me, don't worry about my weapons. I make my weapons better. I make the people.
You said that before, and it's one of the things that makes you good at this job because you think of things in this like abstract way. Sometimes you're thinking like down the road. Like this is what it looks like when you got to give him that top flight contract, and I think it's a good argument.
And my question was just to add to what he asking. Do you change this formula though? Do you say, okay, this offseason? I know I'm a little
go get him some help. I am.
But do you?
Because I can.
Do you need a for sure? Number two.
Yeah.
Because it seems like the committee is playing on that level enough. Yeah. You can use more bodies than one.
I want to make it easier for him. I don't want him to have to do what he did Sunday every game.
But is there a number 2 that's not going to be a diva and feel like, well, here's my time to shine.
I don't know. You're going to have to
Terry ain't getting here, so I need to be getting mine.
You got to talk to your wide receiver committee about
it. I'm just saying because there's not many that can play in this kind of type of atmosphere. Where the coaching staff want you to be a
blocker. They want you to do everything. Yeah.
Wait your turn. Yeah. Brotherhood. You don't get a lot of those guys out there in the market that they think about that dollar and they think about getting that dollar and keep that dollar rising because they want to go out there and play. I think
that's such a great point, Tana. And I just look at the other teams that have a guy like this. Yeah. So Baltimore, the Bills, every year they're not doing big renos. Yeah. They're tweaking a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, can we update our offensive line a little bit? Let's get him a guard in the draft, right?
Yeah.
So he can sit in the pocket a little bit longer. Yeah. Or hey, we're not going to get the number 1 receiver in free agency.
We're going to get the number 4.
Let's go get Curtis Samuel. Right? And let's draft Coleman, and he'll be our first round pick, right? Yeah. And you're just kind of tweaking it a little bit just to upgrade the talent and the depth. I think that's maybe the word I'm going to use here is I think there's talent here. There's guys that have roles, guys that I want to be commanders offensively moving forward for
guys,
sure.
But they need to mature a little bit like McCaffrey.
Yeah. But I think just raising the talent level. But Tana, I think you bring up a great point. And again, like you're always thinking of it like this, is does it fit with the people?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be and that's the thing that I think when you look at Baltimore, there's no star wide receiver. Like when OBJ goes up there, you're not the star, man. Yeah. This isn't your show.
Yeah.
So either shut up or get
fit
out of
in,
here.
fit out.
Or who's the guy from Pittsburgh that they brought in? Wallace?
Yeah.
Like they got rid of him in like 3 games. It's like Lamar's the guy.
Yeah.
If you're not going to help him out, get the hell out of here. So, and I know we're getting ahead of ourselves there, but
I don't know. It's legit. You have to ask yourself these questions, especially when you got tons of cap money. And you got a lot of draft collateral. You have to ask yourself.
And again, like it's crazy to think about, but like Philly, special performance. This was a special performance. And he just and the other thing about him, Fred and Tana, that I'd love to get your thoughts on is the bigger the game, the bigger the performance.
He saves his best for when it's needed. He saves his best when people say what they can't do. He's been so damn good that he's almost blocked out Coach Quinn from the Coach of the Year conversation. Because it's been Jayden Daniels.
Yeah.
And I feel like if Coach Quinn was, let's say, an offensive head coach that was called in the play, now he would be a mastermind with this young player. But now it's Jayden. It's been that good because he's been breaking veteran records as a rookie.
If you want to be technical, he's blocked out what they were saying about Cliff Kingsbury, about his back end of the seasons and how his teams normally go, down instead of up.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like the guy. It's crazy because earlier in the year when we first saw him, go to Cincy and do what he did in Cincy, and then we went up to Arizona and we did it. He was like, "Oh, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves."
But we got one.
And then and you got a guy like me who's superstitious. I'm over there like,
no, don't say nothing.
Don't say it. Don't say it, Snoop. You do it every time.
We got one, baby.
But the guy say, talk about me.
Yeah, first quarter. He's the guy.
He's the guy. You know what I'm saying? But he goes out there. He's like, "No, talk about me. Talk your stuff."
And feel good doing it.
Because I'm gonna show up.
Yeah.
When it's on the line, I'm gonna show up regardless of the situation and the time. And that's what I love the most because we saw that little that 3 games, stint where it was like,
he slowed down until
damn, man, he's a rookie.
Yeah.
Oh man,
he regular.
We got out there ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
And then I kept saying, nah, the teams I've been on that went to the postseason, we had a little spell here and there where
you're gonna have a low point.
We had a couple of injuries here. We had a couple of guys go down. He got injured himself.
Yeah.
But we found a way to pick it back up, and that's just what these guys did. He found a way. You could tell he's healthier.
Yeah.
You could tell he's feeling himself, feeling like his old self. And then he just, like I say, man, he just willed his way to like victory last night. And that's what was special about it, because here you go, you have a guy that's young. He hasn't played enough in this league to understand the moments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sunday Night Football, everybody and their mama watching you.
The only show.
We ain't looking like ourselves.
But it's funny because I think he does get it, and he just doesn't care. Like,
he just don't care.
He just doesn't care.
Yeah.
But another thing too, I think a testament to is just his faith. I think it's his faith, man. Yeah. I can't say I think it. I just know when a guy walking right, doing the right things, ain't doing the extra stuff.
Yeah.
You play like that.
And it wasn't like he had a perfect game. He has an interception early.
Yeah.
And again, that great, honestly, really just a fantastic call by the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
Right? They're running looks like an all-out pressure. It's actually like an overload fire zone. So they're blitzing 4 to the offensive right. They're dropping the 2 guys to the offensive left out.
Yep.
He reads the eyes, the 3x2 side, they're an empty, and just makes a great play. And it's never like, oh, this is terrible. Oh, bad body language. It's just like,
okay, on to the next.
Hey, it's on me.
Yeah,
I got it.
And that's what I do. That's why I really love this game yesterday, because it was a chess match. This both coaching staffs was in their bag.
They knew each other too.
Yeah, listen, Kingsbury made a call in the red zone that played to Bates.
You know what I'm talking about? What's crazy?
I thought it was going to be a touchdown.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy though is this is where Cliff is awesome. Because like some coordinators like Sean and Kyle, it's like the whole game plan's got to be like
tight,
connector set, put together.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Cliff the other day. He's like, if I like a play, I'm putting it in.
Yeah.
And when you watch the Denver game, they ran that leak off the same action.
Yeah.
Like where the tight end leaks out.
Yeah.
And I just thought to myself, like, like if Kyle wouldn't put that in because it's like it doesn't fit with all this stuff.
Yeah.
Cliff's like, it's good and it works. So like, put it in. We get a great executed play.
I was like, blown away.
You got a guy to do it that you didn't expect to do it.
I was standing right where he caught the ball.
Yeah.
That collision, man.
Oh, yeah. Both players.
I was
like, Bates getting up a little slow.
And I saw him today. He's like, yeah, I felt fine. Like, and I was like, that's what you get when you're made of pig iron.
That also just shows you the type of, I guess you can say the staff that these guys are being taught by, because these guys want you to be physical. These guys want you to make sure. And we watch every man that's still here play on the other staff.
Yeah.
And it just night and day.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a great point.
You feel what I'm saying?
Great
like,
point.
these guys tell you this is how we coming. You know what I mean?
Reckless,
they gonna feel us.
Organized chaos.
With violence.
Yes.
You feel me? And so when you watch these guys, they violently get after the ball on defense. Offensively, they violently finishing and with the ball. So it just shows you. When I saw Bates do that, I say, see what I'm saying? Like, you got a guy who you don't expect to even be in that situation to finish the same way you saw Ertz and all these other guys do.
I just thought that was a hell of a play call. I thought the timing of it was perfect. The execution, the ball was
I wish he had a couple more gears on him so he could just score and not have to worry about it.
In my head, he had made it to the end zone.
It felt like, right?
In my head, I was like,
that hit alone.
They just let the cannons loose. But they closed on him pretty quick.
They did.
And like I said, it got violent at the end of it.
And so obviously Bates, and that's the other thing. Cliff, I think, does a great job designing plays. The first touchdown to OZ with that zone read.
Yeah.
So remember the 4th and 1 they ran against Philly that got blown up, the first 4th and 1?
Yeah.
It's the same action, but instead of that, we're going to give a guy to the flat. We're going to give a guy in the corner. We're going to force you to kind of defend the zone read, and Jayden's just going to ball out and make a play. So I love how Cliff is always kind of taking the stuff that's the foundation of what they do and just kind of here's a little salt and pepper on that
Let me add a fifth wheel to that.
Yeah, and then you get guys stepping up like Chris Rodriguez. We were talking about this earlier, Tana. Like literally one of the best 4-yard run I've ever seen in my life. Like breaking 2 tackles, falling forward. Yeah. He did a great job in blitz pickup. Yeah. McNichols every single week is an absolute maniac in pass protection.
And I can tell the coaches,
those are the roles.
And I can tell the coaches challenge them to get better at your weaknesses. Because Chris was never known as a catch the ball out the backfield. He's he caught like he's catching it, and it ain't looking like I'm the stone hands downhill runner.
No, it means something to him. Yeah. I mean, this could be your last down. You better catch it.
Yeah. The pressure is on, and that's from the first guy to the last guy. I enjoy that.
Yeah. So another kind of just crazy statistic about our guy Jayden Daniels, 5th rookie quarterback since 1950 to lead his team to back-to-back double-digit comeback wins. The last guy to do was Andrew Luck in 2012. So he's just special, man. Yeah. And the other thing is, so last week against Philly, it was explosive plays. It was big play to Terry, big play to OZ, big play to Diami up the sideline. Obviously, Diami's hurt, so they lose a little bit of explosiveness in their offense. They had one explosive pass play in this game. Yeah. Think about that.
So it's methodical. It's methodical.
It was a broken coverage to Zach Ertz, but everything else was 5 yards here, 10 yards here, broken tackle there. And just, again, it was like.
I take it however it comes, however it serves up. I think they do good at teaching these guys situational football. Like, every situation won't be won over with a 50-yard pass. Are we going to do more 5-yard passes than we ever going to throw more 50-yard passes? They're making sure that these guys are so good with the small things, so when the big plays happen, they are ready for them.
I think also, man, I saw a couple of times where you thought they was going to take a shot because Terry hit him on like a stutter go or a slant go, and he was gone. But one of the things that Jayden does well, if he didn't feel comfortable, he wasn't finna let it go.
He ain't gonna let it go.
He saw it. We all saw it. And we like, oh, they going to Terry. And Jayden, scrambled to the left for like 10 yards, 10 plus. But if he would have just stayed in there, which he probably could have, but he wasn't comfortable with it. And he knew, hey, I can get more, instead of going out there and risking it. So that's what I like about it, because I feel that the decision-making with Jayden, to be a young guy.
I trust him.
Man, he just knows that he makes the right decision almost every time.
Yep.
Yeah, and just special. And I always when we do these and we start gushing about him, I'm always like, there's other people that contribute. Obviously Quan gets the interception.
Yeah, Quan led the team in tackles also.
Jeremy Chin has a great pass breakup on a seam, knocking the ball like a high.
Yeah.
And so there are people making plays and there are people supporting, but like I guess when you just step back and look at it, especially on the offensive side of the ball, OZ give him his flowers, almost the second 2 touchdown games, right?
Yeah.
But it's like Jayden is the guy that drives.
He's the catalyst.
Yeah.
He starts everything, and he actually ends everything. Yeah. And I think his confidence brims through the team. Because it's something for him to be like, I believe in myself.
Yeah.
But they believe. When they go to the huddle and he say, we finna run this play, we going into the end zone, they believe it.
Logan's on the sideline, but I'm watching guys, especially when I'm watching them from the TV copy, when he does things special, you see the defensive players like, like they looking at each other like, there you go. You know what I mean? He get guys up off because you know how when we on the sideline, if the defense out there, I'm sitting on the bench. I'm gonna sit down and get my rest.
Yeah.
Nah, not when 5 in the game. If I'm on defense, I'm standing up. I'm gonna watch this. It's a show. And not only a show, it's just a guy going out there doing his job to the best. At the best of his ability. And it's like every chance he gets, you feel like we have a shot. You know what I mean? It's not a time he stepped on the field. Like even the one we had out, that it was a minute 19 left in the game, they scored. I'm like, okay, we got a shot. We went 3 and out, and I still was confident. I'm like, all right, we get another chance, we'll score.
I think that's another great point. This is the second week in a row where Jayden and the offense have messed up the first shot at it. Yeah. Last week against Philly, they throw a pick, right? Defense makes a stand. This week they go 3 and out. Defense holds them, they miss the field goal. And then the second opportunity, he goes and makes it happen. I think that's something as a fan you might miss, right? Because you get so caught up. We get caught up.
Emotionally.
Yeah. But like without the defense making plays, you don't get that.
All right, the unsung hero of yesterday is one Tress Way.
Yeah.
All right. Tress Way punted that ball 60-plus yards.
Crushed it. And then Percy Butler with a great tackle.
Oh, yeah, great tackle.
Then they tried to kick the 55-yard field goal with our old kicker that tried out here. And it falls just that short because he
we gave him that yardage. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Atlanta fans was celebrating. They thought it went in. Because if it had some more leg, it would have been good.
I was standing there because, like, on the broadcast, London and Bram are up in the box. They're at the far end.
Yeah.
So I'm right where the field goal post is. That's where I like to stand because you can see it a little bit better. And I could tell from the moment it was kicked, because I've got the good angle that it was short. And so Braham's like, is it going to go? And I'm like, dude, it's short. Like, I knew, like.
Take the emotion out of that, Bram. It's short.
You got me sitting there watching TV. See this? I knew it. And I'm like, oh, that's short.
Oh, yeah, you know it.
Pissed off. I'm so damn hot. I'm like, how you going to let these dudes get a kick to win the game, man? With 119 left.
That was a little stressful for sure.
Oh, yeah. God.
Yeah, so obviously talking a lot about Jayden Daniels and how well he did in this game. I think something that people have been floating around is obviously Rookie of the Year, which I think is in the bag.
Yep.
The other one is
put the money in the bag.
Is MVP. So for this segment, we're going to risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah.
Risk it.
And we're going to talk about whether Jayden Daniels should be MVP. And remember, risk it for the biscuit is presented by Marsh McLennan Agency, your partner in risk and people strategies. Remember, business insurance, they got you.
Yeah.
Employee health benefits, they got you. Private client services, they got you. And they also got you for risk it for the biscuit.
Give me a biscuit.
And so, Jayden Daniels having a very good year.
Yes, he is.
The other MVP people, the perennial people, are people we talked about a lot in the show already.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
And I am going to put Joe Burrow in there because I think he deserves.
No Saquon Barkley.
I mean, you can put Saquon in there, but we're doing a quarterback comparison, really. So.
I'm just saying, though, we're talking about a running back that's about to break the all-time single season. He ain't gonna break it, though. I'm just saying, he has a chance.
You think they're going to hold him out?
Yeah, he going to hold out. He already said it.
Oh, they're keeping out of the game?
Nah, he said it's up to the team, and the team already didn't let him run after he got the 2,000 yards in that game. So you think they finna let him go to New York?
Yeah, could you imagine if he got hurt?
He go to New York, they trying to hurt that man. They ain't finna. And don't get me wrong, we have more friends on our team when we leave, but trust me, New York
it's
don't want
haters.
They don't want him coming in there doing that to them. They would be all out warfare.
And the funny part
boy.
about it, he went out in the third quarter the first time they said when he almost broke the single game record on him.
So he told the coach, nah, he ain't want none.
Who's the guy? Who's the guy that does all the instant reaction? Like I forget the guy's name, but he had the most diabolical take about this game. He's like, what you want to do is if you're the Eagles, you want to win, and then for the last game you want to sit your starters. And everyone's like, why would you want to do that? You're gonna win, get the number one seed, blah 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 blah. And he was like, well, I want the New York Giants to beat me. And they're like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
And they're like, well,
they can get the number 3.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want them picking a quarterback, and I want them to be in quarterback limbo for the rest of their career, and that would be an absolutely diabolical way.
They almost did it with the win Sunday. I was like, what are they doing?
So if they win, they move down to like what?
4, 5, 6.
Yeah,
here go the thing about it.
Could you imagine? So they were Tana.
They was number 1.
They were number 1.
Yes.
Then they beat the Colts,
and that's 14 with 3 wins.
Then they went to 4. And then if they
win
beat
again,
Philly, they go to 6.
Yes.
Or 7.
Yeah.
Maybe you're right.
7, yeah.
And so there's no way they're picking a quarterback then. Yeah. No way.
Well, cause Cam Ward be gone, Shador be gone. You would be at the Travis Hunter sweepstakes. Like if they go out here, if I'm the owner,
I'm letting them win.
No, if I'm the
letting
owner,
their ass win.
If I'm the Giants owner, I'm looking my GM in the face, and say, you the reason for the season. I demand that you lose.
I demand that you lose.
I demand that you do what you were doing
You
earlier.
don't even show up. Don't even coach. Get stuck in a hotel.
Them, if you win, y'all all fight.
Yeah.
I know y'all ain't used to hearing this. If y'all win, you fight. Simple as that.
Yeah, so again, the reason we're not talking about Saquon, just to peel behind the curtain here, is because we're doing quarterback comparisons.
All right.
So we picked these 3-4 quarterbacks to
talk about Jayden.
So Jayden Daniels, 3,530 yards passing, 31 total TDs, 9 interceptions, 101 quarterback rating. No, 101, what is that, RTG? What is that? Yeah, quarterback rating. And then 864 yards rushing. Right now he's the leading quarterback rusher.
Yeah, he is. And he broke the single season rushing record, right?
And so all of those numbers, while very, very good,
they're not great.
They're not better than the other guys on this list.
Yep.
Like Josh Allen has 3,700 yards passing. He's got 40 total touchdowns. Lamar Jackson's even crazier. He's got almost 4,000 yards passing. He's got 43 total touchdowns. Get to Joe Burrow. He's got 4,600 yards passing. He's got 44 total touchdowns. Like, dude is straight balling.
Yeah.
So all those dudes are playing really well.
Yeah.
The one statistic I would direct your attention to is last year. Do you remember the Commanders' record last year?
4 games.
13.
4-13.
Yeah.
What's the record this year?
We could win 12 games. Could you believe it?
But like right now we're 11-5, right?
Yeah.
So that is a +7 game differential.
Yeah.
You know what Josh Allen's game differential is?
Oh, they was good last year.
Yeah, +2. So they were good last year. They're good this year. Who cares? Lamar Jackson's actually 2 games worse.
But also, here go the crazy thing about Lamar Jackson. The stats he have this year is better than both years that he won the MVP. His can in them years.
His stats are.
This is the best I've ever seen him play.
What's crazy is when you have numbers like that, we've seen that with the Heisman, because he arguably had a better season after his Heisman also, but didn't win the Heisman. Yeah. So what happens is when you have a guy, it's the bar set, but it's the other guys who having those caliber, MVP or Heisman caliber, seasons. Yeah. You can't sit there and say, well, even though he's better than last year, these other guys just edge him out a bit. But this year, I will argue and say, I don't think the other guys have edged him out enough. You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't get me wrong. As much as Josh Allen, we want to send him on the high horse.
Stats are better.
I will take Lamar. And I'm not saying this because I'm being biased because I'm a fan of Lamar and he's a South Florida guy. I just feel like with what he has, he done better with it. And don't get me wrong, you can look at King Henry and say, well, you got King Henry, took a lot of load off of him. No. The man is passing the ball at a different rate this year. You know what I'm saying?
Unbelievable.
It's games where he not even passing. He's like, well, you know what, I should have did this more. You know what I mean? He's picking and choosing.
Dude, his quarterback rating is 121.
Yeah.
Like 121.
So,
and so
said,
Joe Burrow, who to me is playing the best, like
he's out of all those
quarterback is like 110.
Yeah.
So like he's 11 points higher, 12 points higher.
Yeah.
And the thing that I wanted to, again, we're kind of having fun.
Yeah, we're just having fun.
But in terms of most valuable player for their team, is there a more valuable person?
It's hard to say Jayden's not.
It's a quarterback trophy. Let's just agree with that. Yeah. Let's start there first. All right, it's a quarterback trophy. Now we want to tie our past to it and say we won 4 games.
No, I don't want to. I'm just giving context.
I totally understand.
All I'm saying is that
I get what you're saying. Yes, you're right.
Is there a more valuable person?
But if we did what they call a blind stat test where we just do a silhouette of all 4 guys and put their stats right there, the only stat he leading in right now legitly is rush yards and rushing touchdowns.
No, well, he not even using rush yards.
No, not rush yards.
We got rush yards. We got the yards.
Yeah, so he leading in rushing touchdown, and we just looked at it. I think we would pick that silhouette with Lamar Jackson in it. I'm just off the numbers.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying.
I know what you're saying.
And if you take Lamar off of that team.
But if you
took Jayden off of this team.
Jayden off this team, it's the same thing.
Who you putting in there?
So let me just say this. If you took Jayden and you put him on Baltimore, and you took Lamar and put him here, I'm just saying.
I don't think it's nothing, Lamar. I don't think it's pretty much no change in that. I think you got to put another quarterback there.
So you're thinking Lamar would have exactly the same numbers he has in Baltimore. He's got King Henry. He's got maybe the best tight end in the NFL, Isaiah Likely. He's got Zay Flowers. He's got a good offensive line.
Now, if you say Sam Darnold, if you're moving Sam Darnold over here, I don't think he's having the year.
But I'm saying, I don't know. Yeah, I think Lamar is a beast. I think Lamar is amazing. But does he have the numbers? Because again, he
leading the league in passing?
We were just talking about this a second ago. We're just talking about this a second ago. Jayden's throwing to OZ, Terry McLaurin, Jamison Crowder.
He throwing to Zay Flowers, Bateman, Rashad Bateman.
Yep.
These are his wide receivers. Yeah. Andrews, they thought his career was over the first 7 games.
But he's resurged. Yeah. Isaiah Likely. They've got some weapons there. And I'm saying with the O-line, with the runner. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you kind of close your eyes and you just look off of no name and say from what this guy over here in Washington been doing, what that guy over there in Baltimore been doing, no names added to it. Yeah. You would say that the guy in Washington means more to his team from how they've won games.
So let's just be clear right now.
From how they won games.
Lamar Jackson's amazing.
Amazing.
Josh Allen's amazing. But I'm just saying in terms of and Josh Allen maybe because again the supporting staff, but I think that roster in Baltimore is better.
From how he won games. That's how that to me that's the deciding factor.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna doubt it. The offensive roster in Baltimore is better and more mature.
Yeah, more mature. Maybe more mature. More established. More established.
Yeah. They got guys that been there, did that.
Yeah.
All right, so no game's going to be too big for them. They can find these matchups if they want to. Yes, they do. And listen, I'm the biggest Jedi 5 fan it is. I just know that
no, we can't think about Lamar, though. Don't think about Lamar.
Guess what? Because I want to think about.
That's why it's hard for you.
I want to think about Josh Allen too, right?
Yeah, no,
I want to think about Josh.
Right.
And when they script Josh, they script the roster down kind of to the bone.
Yeah.
They put a first-round wide receiver out there. They went and got him Amari Cooper, who has it, been all that.
Yeah.
James Cook.
Look,
he's leading the NFL in rushing touchdowns.
The only reason why a lot of those, and even with Baltimore, the only reason why it would tend for me not to look at those guys if it was nameless quarterbacks, because I know what the defense do. I know what they're doing as a whole. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that our defense isn't playing well, but what are we doing that we are not doing well, and that's stopping the run. And so that's right there. That's one of our handicaps that we have on a team that just came from having a 4-13 season a year ago with a bunch of new starters. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So all that
80%.
goes in effect when it comes to just saying, okay, these guys are nameless. We don't know who they are, but this team has this many new players, a defense that's ranked 30-something in stopping the run. They ranked 4th. They were in the top 10 in stopping the pass.
That's a good way of doing it, just going down the list.
Offensively, this is what they have as weapons. And the running back is the leading rusher on the team.
No, the quarterback is the leading.
The quarterback is the leading rusher on the team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you start putting all that into play, you say, he's the most valuable asset to his offense.
You almost selling me this used car. Listen, I'm about to buy this Datsun from you now.
I got the keys right here.
I'm about to buy this Datsun
I got
from
the keys right
I know the motor ain't no good. I'm about to buy it though.
Oh my God.
I smell what you got cooking.
Yeah, you feel me?
All right, when you do line this stuff up and say who has the most adversity to get wins.
Yeah.
Jayden Daniels has to overcome the most adversity out of all of these guys to win. A lot because these guys have been with their coaching staff. Yeah. They've been with this thing. Everything's new to him.
You said it's like those teams are
more mature.
More mature, yeah. And established.
They've got their identity
and they've been there long enough together. So,
I smell what y'all got.
So again, like if I had to put a vote in, I'd probably vote for Lamar if we're being
don't get me wrong.
But I do think it's an interesting thought experiment. And I think Josh Allen too, right?
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, like those three guys to me, if you picked any one of those guys,
you can't lose.
Right now, excluding Jayden out of it, just saying because the guys who's actually in the race, you got Burrow, Josh Allen, and Lamar. And if I had to be one of those guys, I would say Burrow because I love Lamar
playing well.
But I'm just feel like Burrow's just been like,
if
damn,
Burrow had
like
3 more wins.
Yeah,
it'll be a runaway.
It'll be a shoe-in.
It'll be a runaway.
But he don't. So now that the only 2 guys they say Josh Allen or Lamar,
but they still got a chance to make the playoff, which is that's saying a lot.
That's crazy. And that would make him an MVP if you ask me.
Yeah, come on, you had to win your last 7.
Yes, you made it.
So I just think it's one of these things where, man,
it's tough to be in that spot as a player that played that well and to see other guys that's on the same level, playing lights out, playing above whatever numbers they've ever done before, and then to say that we have to choose one of these guys. Because Lamar arguably should be his third time.
But it's going to be that Charles Barkley MVP. We just so tired of giving it to Lamar. Let's give it over here. But I can say this, the NFL should be happy, damn happy. We are quarterback rich. Right?
Yeah. Right, doesn't it feel that way? Like when we were getting ready for the show, I was like, holy cow.
We are quarterback rich.
And then Patrick Mahomes isn't even on this list.
That's what I'm telling you. Look,
you got a guy like Aaron Rodgers who's
the bottom of the barrel.
Bottom of the barrel. Like Aaron Rodgers. Could you believe it?
You look at the bottom of the barrel and Aaron Rodgers.
Like this. I'm still here.
I ain't going nowhere 49. This is quarterback rich. And come on, Michael Penix showed us a lot, man.
A rookie.
The future is bright, man.
Bo Nix, the whole thing. Great point. But just to read off Lamar's stats, because they are cartoon good.
Godly.
He's got almost 4,000 yards passing. He's got 43 total touchdowns. Only 4 interceptions. 4 interceptions. On
he is throwing the ball. That throw he made in this last game, when he throws it and he don't even wait for the dude to catch the ball. I say that's very Steph Curry of him.
He's got 121 quarterback rating. Think about that. 120 or passer rating, 121.
Yeah.
That's out of 159, 158 on the year.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
And I'm going to tell you when it started. You remember when he announced, hey, guys, I'm about to lose weight. You remember he said that in the offseason?
Yeah, in the offseason, yeah.
And I've been seeing
he lost 30-something pounds, they said.
And he looks like it.
30 pounds?
Yeah,
yes.
30 pounds heavier.
Because you remember he started to bulk up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then now he looks like fresh out of college, Lamar.
Fresh.
Pep out of his step, and he can stop and start like never before. But guess what? He like, I'm not even going to use these. I didn't lose this weight for this.
I mean, even that, he has 852 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Almost 1,000 yards rushing. Like, his numbers
crazy,
are
bro.
crazy, bro.
That's crazy, man.
Like, and so again, like Josh Allen, when you watch Josh Allen, peak Josh Allen I think probably has higher peaks. Like, he does
his stat line sometimes 5 touchdowns, 300-400 yards.
And the thing where he's doing that full speed sprint to the right, and just launches at 60. Like, he's the only guy in the NFL that can do that.
Yeah.
Like, so obviously you see those moments, but again, like, just from a straight stat standpoint, like, well, it's like crazy numbers. Anyway, so that's it. We think Jayden Daniels doing awesome.
Yeah.
Great job elevating. Interesting conversation about him in terms of MVP, most valuable player for your team.
But what happens if he does come in 5th? Ain't that an accomplishment in itself?
I mean,
I believe so.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
I feel like that when
rookie.
I got 7 in the Heisman. Don't tell me what place you got because you weren't in there.
Yeah, hey, listen.
But
listen.
I damn sure feel like that was an accomplishment in itself.
Swoop for Heisman. I think I came in 9th. All right. So guess how I felt? I felt good.
Yeah. All right? I mean, think about it. You're the 9th best player in college football.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man.
Ain't never wrong being 9.
And as a rookie, for him to be 5th, like, so you'd say these 3 guys.
Plus, they'll throw Saquon up there, and there go him at 5th or 6th. I'd be like, hell of a year.
Is there anybody else you'd put above him? Like, right now, honestly? Like, if you said MVP, like obviously we think these
the 3 quarterbacks.
King Henry.
I've been saying Saquon and King Henry be the only other people.
So 6th.
Oh, but I ain't gonna lie, who's having a phenomenal year too.
Jamar Chase.
They're
your boy. You couldn't keep him out there.
Hey, anytime I see his face glowing, I just yell out Jamar Chase. I don't care where we at.
Lord have mercy. Boy, look at him.
He's fun to watch now. He's fun to watch. All right, but that's it. Now let's do a quick Dallas preview. Obviously, this was like the last time they lost, right? It was versus Dallas. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. That's the last time we lost.
Yeah, and obviously didn't come out and play their best brand of football in that game.
Never take a division opponent for just always understand they're going to come to play.
And just kind of quickly reviewing, just my mental notes from last game, these are the previews. Can you handle Micah Parsons? Because prior to that game, he'd only been rushing at end.
Yeah.
And then they were like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to line him up at defensive tackle. And you're going to rush, and he's going to win quick.
Yeah.
How do you handle that? How do you stop the run? Because remember, Rico
Dowdle
kind of came out there, and because they were able to stay on schedule,
Cooper Rush was making plays.
I think we calculated it was like, I want to say it was like 15 hitches.
Yeah.
And they kept him on schedule.
Yeah.
And then how do you handle CeeDee Lamb?
No CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, is he hurt?
Yeah, he's out.
He's out.
He's through for the year.
Is he really?
Yeah.
What did he do?
But Jalen Tolbert.
They set him down because of his shoulder.
Yeah, his shoulder. That's right.
But Jalen Tolbert.
Yeah.
And the rest of these guys,
they still out there catching.
The question is special teams.
Yeah.
Redeem yourself.
Yeah.
You gave up 2 kickoff returns against this team. One was
I ain't kicking at him.
A Madden just.
That was crazy.
I'm finna make everybody jockstrap sit right here on the ground.
That was literally like that play in Madden, like when you're playing, you just hit the spin button, accidentally push it, and then you fake everybody out and you go for a touchdown.
So special teams, let's win that battle first. Second of all, let's start fast. Tanner talked about this. When we don't run that ball, we don't start fast. We start slow.
And don't get
if it's a team like this with so many injuries and they already 1, 2, 3 Cancun, they go and put them in that mode first quarter so they playing survival. Now I'm just trying to stay healthy. Yeah. That's what mode you want to put them in. I'm trying to stay healthy.
That's what Philly did. Philly was pretty much like, oh, you think
just attacked them.
Yeah, you think you're cool? Here's 20 unanswered points.
Yeah, I know they're gonna come with an extra boost of energy, just knowing that, man, this is Dan Quinn.
We want to hate.
He left here.
We want to hate.
We want to make things a little, we already know they clinch, but we want to make it. We want to make sure he go play Philly. So let's go ahead and beat these guys. And with that being said, we should have that same kind of mentality. Hey, they beat us once, and it's no way they beating us.
We don't want to swipe. We don't want to get swept by them.
I say it all the time. Make the main thing. Go get the W.
Yeah. So I think this again to be like totally simplistic. stop the run, force Cooper Rush to beat you,
run the ball.
And then run the ball because and again we talked about this.
How you normally say possess the ball?
Possess the ball, right? So a quick game, move Terry around a little bit, find good matchups for him, and then throw a little B-Rob in there because they're not a big front. You know, they're a fast front.
They built to play with a lead.
Yeah.
That's how they built. They built to play very much like the Indianapolis Colts when Peyton Manning was there.
Great point.
A smaller, line, speed off the edge. You can run at them teams though.
And is there anything else I'm forgetting? I feel like that's the preview, right?
Well, and make Jerry Jones cry.
That would be a good one.
That's what I want. Like, it's the good part about it.
Can he cry?
I haven't heard from Jerry in weeks.
Doesn't he do it? Isn't he the only owner that does a pre and post game show?
But I haven't heard any noise from it lately. It's just I think he's on his jet. And just escaping.
He's in his camper or his mobile home.
Yeah, he just want to get away from it for a while.
It's always crazy when we're at the combine and you're walking around, Indianapolis.
And GM's just everywhere. Dennis Jerry.
And then Jerry's in the bus just driving, to, Burger Co. or whatever the heck it is down the street.
Yeah, just
ordering 40
large fried. Let me
Oh, goodness me. But anyway, so this is a winnable game. It means something for the Commanders. If they win, they can get LA, which I think is a much better matchup
and
than
12
Philly.
wins, man.
Oh, my God.
12 wins.
Seriously, yeah.
You're talking about since 91 when you won the Super Bowl? Damn, we wasn't no good players, were we?
I know I wasn't good.
I'm just
saying, homeboy.
All I'm saying is, as a team.
Yeah, as a team.
As a team.
You right.
We kind of stunk, fellas.
We did.
We never put like this. We never went 12.
Yeah,
that is true.
I went 10, right? We went 10 in 2012.
Yeah, 10.
We never went. We went to the playoff, but we just never.
I think that's the other thing, dude. It is
it's hard, man.
It's hard to win games.
Yeah,
it's hard to get to the playoffs, and the team's doing both of those things.
Yeah,
and it's just a great feeling.
I went 12 in 05. Oh, you was gone. See, we got rid of you and went 12.
Y'all had to cut the fat. Then I came back. We went to the playoff.
Did you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for today's show. So make sure we're all excited. We can't wait for this Dallas game again, but we're really looking we're looking ahead. Players probably aren't doing that. Yeah. But thanks so much for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. That really helps us out. If you want to see our ugly faces, check us out on YouTube, on the Commanders YouTube channel. And I think that's it.
Jet F5, may the force be with you.